Hey everyone, and welcome. So let me ask you something. Have you ever gone down one of those YouTube rabbit holes, watching tutorial after tutorial for hours, and then when you're done, you realize you can't actually remember a single thing you watched? Yeah, we've all been there. Today, we're going to figure out how to turn all that passive screen time into some seriously powerful active learning. Let's break down why that happens, and way more importantly, how to fix it for good. This quote right here, man, it just hits the nail on the head, right? Edutainment. It's that illusion of being productive just because we're watching something educational. But really, we're just being entertained. It feels like we're learning, but when we try to actually do something, the skills just aren't there. But here's the good news. You are not stuck in that trap. There are actual concrete strategies to break out of this little cage and turn all that passive watching into active, real-world achievement. So let's start by getting to know the enemy. Okay, so first things first, we have to understand this enemy we're up against. This edutainment trap is totally built on an illusion of progress. It's designed, really, to make you feel good about yourself for consuming content, but it doesn't demand any of the hard work that leads to genuine knowledge. You can see how this cycle is just vicious. It all starts with that passive watching, which gives you that little dopamine hit, that false sense of accomplishment. But then, because you can't actually apply what you learned, you just end up confused wondering why nothing stuck, which, you guessed it, usually sends you right back to watching even more tutorials. We have got to break this loop. And this right here, this is the fundamental mindset shift you have to make. Think about it. The internet is like an infinite library with no librarian. It's got all the information you could ever possibly want, but it's on you, the learner, to actually build the curriculum. So what do we do about it? Well, that brings us to our very first strategy. You have to be your own dean. I love that. Instead of letting some random algorithm be your guide, it's time to build your own structure and forge a real path toward mastery. Okay, check this out. Here is an incredibly simple but super effective hack. First, find a popular, best-selling textbook on whatever you're trying to learn. You don't even have to buy it, just look it up online. Second, just copy the chapter titles from its table of contents. And third, boom, that table of contents is now your learning roadmap. You have an expert-designed curriculum you can use to search for videos and articles in a logical, structured order. No more random bouncing around. So, how do we actually make that shift? From being the passive consumer on the left to becoming the active learner on the right? Well, it's all about engagement. Instead of just binge watching, pause the video and try to predict what the instructor is going to do next. Instead of just letting it play, you take control of the pace, speed up the parts you get, and slow it way down for the complex stuff. The goal isn't just to consume anymore, it's to constantly engage with the material. All right, next up, you've got to sanitize your space. See, even with the best plan in the world, your brain just can't focus in an environment that's filled with digital temptations. The internet is basically a distraction machine, so you have to be deliberate about building a space for deep work. Now, this is a total game changer. Create a completely separate browser profile just for learning. In your school profile, you're not logged into any social media, there are no tempting news bookmarks, no distracting YouTube subscriptions, nothing but the tools you need to learn. This removes the temptation before your willpower is even tested. It's brilliant. And for those times when you really need some extra help, it's time to go nuclear. Use blocker apps like Freedom or Stay Focused to make it physically impossible to get distracted during your study blocks. You have to be ruthless about protecting your focus. Here's a super simple rule to live by. Never, ever watch a tutorial full screen. Always split your screen in half. On one side, you've got the video. On the other, your notes or the program you're learning. But here's the crucial part. Your hands have to be moving. If you're not typing or writing or coding along, you are slipping right back into passive edutainment. Okay, this brings us to what might be the biggest frustration for every self-taught learner out there, escaping what's known as tutorial hell. You know that awful feeling, right? Where you understand everything in a video perfectly, but you feel totally lost the second you try to create something yourself. I mean, we've all been here. You follow along, the code works, it all makes perfect sense. Then the video ends, you stare at that blank document, and nothing. You can't even remember how to start. That, my friends, is tutorial hell, and the only way out is to build something. This says it all, doesn't it? The real test of knowledge isn't whether you can follow along, it's whether you can produce something from scratch. The moment you start creating is the moment you start truly learning.
And look, your project does not have to be some grand masterpiece. The goal here is immediate application. As soon as you finish a lesson, close the tutorial and create something tiny. If you learned a few words in a new language, write a simple sentence with them. This isn't just practice, this is an act of active retrieval, and that's the process that actually moves knowledge into your long-term memory.
But let's be real, doing all of this alone is tough. In fact, isolation is one of the biggest reasons people just give up on online courses. So you have to find your digital classmates. You need people to keep you accountable and motivated. Find a Discord server or a Reddit community for your topic and actually engage. Try following the lurker rule. Force yourself to post just one question or answer one question per week. Or you could try body doubling on a site like Focusmate, where you literally just work silently on a video call with a stranger. It sounds weird, but that little bit of social pressure works wonders. Okay, we have covered a lot, so let's put it all together into a simple, really powerful pre-flight ritual. Think of this as a checklist you run through before every single study session to absolutely guarantee you're set up for success. It's a dead simple 4-point check. Just ask yourself. 1. Environment. Is my phone physically in another room? 2. Tech. Is my clean school browser profile open? 3. Goal. What is the one specific thing I want to accomplish right now? And 4. Engagement. Is my notebook or my project file open and ready to go? Running through this simple ritual makes deliberate learning a habit, not an accident. So, as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with this one question. The very next time you sit down to learn something online, what's it going to be? Will it be passive entertainment, or are you going to use these tools to make it active, effective education? The choice is all yours.